I'm going to make a very simple apple pie for Mom for Mother's Day. I have here, I normally don't take measurements, so I'm going to try to take measurements for the video, but I have about a little over 1/4 of a cup of cold butter, excuse me, and I'm just going to add the flour to it. I don't like to do pastry in a food processor because it can get too tough. You don't want to handle it too much. So this is organic, unbleached, just regular white flour. I think it's going to have to be about maybe 2 1/4 cups. Let's see. Yeah, 2 1/4 cups of flour. And then I'm just going to break it up with my fingers and crumb it together until it's like peas. You don't want to overwork any pie pastry. So rub it all through. I'm just rubbing it through my hands, picking up the chunks of butter and just rubbing them through. Okay, when all the flour has little bits of butter in it, don't mix it too much. It should sort of look like that. Then what I do is I beat 1 egg. Now I'm going to reserve a little bit of this egg for an egg wash on the top. I don't need much. Just a little tiny bit of the egg. So I'm going to put the egg in a measuring cup, and then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar. And then I'm going to add enough cold water to make about 1/3 of a cup. So with the vinegar, the egg, and the water, you have 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to beat that together. And I'll put it in. Get everything out of there. Put it into pastry. I'm just going to lightly mix it around first with a spatula. And then I'm going to get in there with my hands and just press it together. And you just want it just to hold together. I'm just sort of folding it with my hand. I'm just bringing my hand up and pressing it back down. I'm going to dump this out now. And what I'm doing is just pressing until it holds together. I'm not kneading it or working it too hard. You should still see like clumps of butter. And if it's a little dry, just add a little bit more liquid. Okay. When it holds together, it still looks quite dry. When it holds together, when you pick it up, it still should sort of crumble apart, but it's holding together. I'm going to take this now, lay it in the pie pan, and refrigerate it for, I'm going to refrigerate this for about 1/2 an hour, and then I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, this has been sitting in the fridge for about 1/2 an hour. I just took it out, and while it was sitting, I made the filling, and I forgot to tape it. So normally what I do is I use applesauce in this filling. There's 3 cubed peeled organic apples, and I use 3 different varieties, and about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then because I didn't have any applesauce, I used about 1/4 of a cup of apple juice with a nice forkful, probably a tablespoon of kudzu starch beaten into the apple juice, and I just poured that in over it. If you don't have kudzu starch, you can use organic cornstarch. And that's it. I just simmered that a little bit until it thickened up, and that's the apple pie filling. So I'm going to take this pastry and I'm going to split it in 2 for the top and the bottom. I'm going to flour the table here. I'm just going to press it out Just try not to overwork or overflour your pastry. It still should look like you should see the chunks of butter, and it still should look flaky. I like the crust fairly thin. I'm just going to keep turning it here. I don't want it to stick. Again. Okay, so it's slightly bigger than the pan. That's what you want. Actually, this side can go up a little bigger. I'm just going to put it in the pie pan here. And press it down, adjust it where necessary. There we go. That's the bottom. I'm going to do the same for the top. Okay, I got the top rolled out and I got the oven preheated to 375. I'm going to take the pie filling, and because the pie filling is already pre-cooked, it shouldn't take long for your pie to cook. Pie filling is still a little warm. It's better if the pie filling is cold when you put it in, but I'm going to spread the pie filling inside. There we go. Get every last bit out of there. And then I'm going to take the top and I'm going to center the pie. And now there's a lot of pastry left over. We can use this for something else. I'm just going to go along with a knife and trim the excess. Actually, I'll probably just pull it off with my fingers. This is what I usually do. So all this excess pie filling, or pie crust, sorry, we can use for another pie bottom. So I'll just take that and freeze it for if I want to make just a pie bottom. So now what I do is I go along and I just pinch the crust upward. And then I'll take my thumbs and press it, or my fingers, doesn't matter, and press it downwards and pinch as I'm going. So I'm just crimping the edges. There we go. I'm just going to press in between each crimp all the way around just to keep the pie crust from raising up. Just fix that. Okay, and I don't like my hole off center, so I'm just going to put a little second hole in there. Maybe a third. There we go, now it looks better. Okay, now with the egg wash, I have a pastry brush that I can't find, so I'm going to just use my fingers. This will just make the top look really golden. So if you use the pastry brush, you can get it on more evenly, but you don't have to have special tools in the kitchen. Use whatever you have, and I have my fingers. I'm going to go in between every little piece here. Okay, now it's ready to go in the oven on 375 for probably maybe half an hour, and I'll take it out and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, it was actually only about 20 minutes later, and I'm not going to overcook the pie in case she wants to reheat it, but the pie is done, and I decided to make a bottom crust rather than freeze it with the leftover dough, so I have a bottom crust for something for ourselves, and a organic apple pie for Mom for Mother's Day. Just take it out of the oven and take a picture. Okay.